Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we are seeing the wonderful description of Kailasa, the abode of Lord Shiva. We are seeing this description as a part of the travel by all the devatas, great sages, headed by Lord Brahma. So when Lord Brahma heard all the activities which took place in the sacrificial arena of King Daksha, Prajapati Daksha, so Brahma, he could understand these are all the effect of offending a great Vaishnava like Lord Shiva. So now what's the solution? Great devotees are very merciful. Just if you go and surrender to them, beg for forgiveness, they'll be ready to forgive you. So in this way, Lord Brahma encouraged all the devatas who were all nicely beaten and with pain and all of those things. He encouraged them to go and surrender to Lord Shiva and beg for his forgiveness. So Lord Brahma also accompanies the devatas to Mount Kailasa. So in the previous verses we saw in a very lengthy manner, briefly, the description of Mount Kailasa, the kind of animals there, the kind of trees, the kind of fruits, the kind of flowers, the sages who reside there, and how it attracts even the denizens of heavenly planets. So they come there and take bath in the, I think it's Alakananda or whatever water reservoir there. So all of those descriptions we saw, and we are seeing two verses here, text 26. Yayos tat snana vibhrashta navakunkuma pinjaram vitrusho api apibanti ambaha payayanto gajagajihi. We saw in the previous verses how the denizens of the heaven, they come there, take their baths, and they go back. After they come here and take bath, what will happen? It is said here that the water becomes yellowish. Nava kunkuma pinjaram. The kunkuma or the varieties of cosmetics, what the heavenly denizens they'll be applying on their bodies. So the water will become mixed with those cosmetic substances and it becomes very fragrant and it turns little yellowish, very attractive. And because of this, what will happen? There are many elephants in the same forest, in that Kailasa area, they come there, the elephants, the she-elephants, they come there, they take bath there, and they drink sufficient water there. So this is not sounding something astonishing. Elephants, they come, take bath in the water reservoir, drink water and go back. There's nothing astonishing here, but there's something special here. What is that which is said in this verse? Vitrishopi pibanti ambaha. Vitrishaha, trisha means thirst. Trishna we say, or trisha meaning thirst. Vitrishaha means no thirst. Stomach is full, we have drunk water, body is hydrated, we don't feel thirsty. Vitrishaha. Vitrishaha I api pibanti ambaha. Though they are not thirsty, still they drink the water. This is something very significant, something special. Though they are not thirsty, I read the translation. After the damsels of the heavenly planets bathe in the water, it becomes yellowish and fragrant due to the kumkuma from their bodies. Thus, the elephants come to bathe there with their wives, the she-elephants, and they also drink the water although they are not thirsty. So this we need to understand. It's just like, see, as devotees we have this experience. Sometimes we may go to some, let's say, prasadam hall. Or prasadam is over, maybe some festival. We have finished our dinner. Maybe some devotee asks for serving or something we want to take from there. We go there. And we look there. Some additional, some special items have come. Or those items which I like. Oh, it is sufficient quantity remaining there. Stomach is already full. No hunger. Still, we become inclined to go and taste it, to eat it. So here, let us understand this. This is the concept, like say, the concept here is that there is this tendency in us to taste some good food, to drink some whatever beverages, some juice which is very tasty, which is fragrant, which is attractive. That is the nature of the spirit soul. It's not that we are accepting food, oh, because we have to survive. If we don't eat, we become very hungry, we become tired. This is the conception in the material world. We become hungry if we don't eat. The pangs of hunger becomes intolerable and we want to eat something. That's the way this body is designed. But apart from that also, there are certain higher things to note. The different senses which we have, they crave for the sense objects. Okay, it is because we have this material body, material senses are behind sense objects. Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jivaloka Jivabhuta Sanatanaha Manashashtani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karshati. Karshati meaning they are disturbed because they have identified with the material body, and this material body has got different senses, and the senses are behind sense objects, and they always disturb the living entity to go in for sense gratification. And for going for sense gratification, they require a lot of money, material prosperity, sense objects are required. For that he has to work hard day and night. But originally, we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Our original nature is Sat Chit Ananda, to be happy, to enjoy. That's the nature of the spirit soul. And the spirit soul has got senses on which the external bodily senses are manifest. So, there is the requirement of the spirit soul, the requirements of the spiritual senses. But now it is pervertedly manifest through the external material body and the external senses. That's why here we need to understand that as spirit souls, we are entitled for enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada says how, say a small baby, it is lying in the lap of the mother, and sometimes the baby tries to come out of the lap of the mother or the cradle in which it is sleeping, and the baby tries to walk. Maybe in the beginning with two hands and two legs, they try to walk. And slowly, once they become accustomed to it, the baby, it starts to stand up, just like elders do, without the help of the hands, just with the legs, it wants to try to walk. But it's not yet, the body is not yet developed. It may take help of something and try to stand up. And usually we have seen the parents, the mother, the father, they try to hold the baby's hand and try to lift them and help them to walk in the initial stages. And after that, once the baby grows up into an adult, no help required. He will walk, jump, run, everything he will do. So here we need to understand, it is natural for a human child to walk. But in that infant stage, the body is not developed. It is not yet in a mature condition to walk on its own. But with little help, the baby, after some passage of time, it can walk on its own. Because the innate nature, the tendency, the nature of the baby or the human child is that it can walk. Likewise, if we see that of a bird, small birds in the nest, and the mother bird is taking care. Sometimes the baby bird comes out, falls off, and it is trying, it is unable to lift itself. The mother bird comes and helps it and tries to push it, and after some time, even the baby bird, it flaps its wings and takes off, flies on its own. Because the nature of the bird is to fly. That's the whatever intricate quality of the bird. Now, a human child, however he tries to fly, he cannot. So, now, what am I trying to say here? We find this famous verse from the Bhagavatam. Atma ramascha munayo nirgrantha api urukrame kurvanti ahaitu kim bhaktim ittham bhuta guno harihi. The nature of the spirit soul, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is to render loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. Rendering loving devotional service, deriving happiness by rendering service, that is the nature of every spirit, every soul. But now, being embodied, we have lost that quality. In the initial days of whatever, maybe especially in the outside world, we find spirituality or religion means, oh, you go to some temple, you go to church, you pray to God for some requirements, and if you get the God's blessings, and your desires will be fulfilled. So that's initial stage. After that, so the concept that God means our order carrier. I want something, I go to temple, pray to God, and He gives it to me. This concept of God as an order carrier is said to be immature understanding. Still in infant stage of understanding of God, understanding of spirituality. Beyond this, we need to understand we are all His part and parcel. In my immature condition, I'll be thinking, I go to God, ask for something, if I get that object, sense object, I will be happy. But none of the sense objects available in the material world can give us true happiness. This realization comes not so easily. But this is the mature stage of spiritual understanding. So once a person comes to this stage of understanding, then he inquires, he becomes inquisitive, where real happiness lies. Then the Shastras are there, spiritual teachers are there, who can guide such an inquisitive person that yes, by rendering of unmotivated, unobstructed, loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord is what really satisfies the self. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. It is not that, oh, my material necessities are fulfilled now, I have sufficient food to eat now, I have place for shelter, everything is done, I am happy, satisfied. No. The spirit soul will not be satisfied with material comforts, material ingredients. It can be completely satisfied only by being in touch with the Supreme Lord in loving devotional service. Then, how? So once a devotee elevates himself to this platform, then he doesn't keep quiet. He wants to render more and more service to the Supreme Lord. He is completely, put off or finished with all kinds of material hankerings, desire to acquire material sense objects. He wants to render more and more service to the Supreme Lord. Why? Why? Because that is giving him true happiness, real pleasure. So, this conclusion we can understand how, like in the example of the elephants, even without being thirsty, they are drinking water. So likewise, it's not required for a devotee that we need to be sufficiently beaten up, sufficiently being harassed by the material nature or outside world, then some little we come to temple and little some relief we feel. No, this is not. Devotional service is tasty. It is relishable. It gives real pleasure. So, a devotee understanding these things. So, if it is really pleasurable, then why as of today I am not experiencing it? So, the answer for this is there. Rupa Goswami, the Upadeshamrita, he has given. Sita api avidya pitto paratapta rasanasya narochikan. Now that we are in diseased condition, we are unable to relish. Otherwise, it is very tasty, it is relishable, it gives pleasure. So much so that in the Bhagavatam it is said, even Atma Rama, self-satisfied personalities who are completely aloof from all kinds of material hankerings, still they want to render loving devotional service to the Lord. Bhuta Guno Harihi. Why? Because the Supreme Lord has got such wonderful qualities. The remembrance of such qualities of the Supreme Lord, Shravana, Kirtana, speaking about it, hearing about it, remembering about these things, about the Supreme Lord, rendering service to the Supreme Lord, all of these activities are so relishable. So here, another place in the Bhagavatam we find the wonderful quality of the Supreme Lord given. This is in the context of Vidura inquiring with Uddhava about Krishna. So immediately Uddhava goes into ecstasy and starts narrating all the wonderful pastimes of Krishna which he performed in Vrindavana and in Dwaraka. So there he remembers how Lord Krishna gave liberation to Putana. There he says, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jighamsaya Payayadapya Sadvi Lebhe Gatim Dhatri Uchitam Tatonyam Kam Vadayalum Sharanam Vrajema. Alas, Uddhava is telling, Krishna granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. See, she is a demon. She has come to Krishna to kill her, to kill him by smearing poison on her breast, so that Krishna, in the pretext to drink the breast milk, he will drink that poison also and he will die. That was the intention with which Putana came to Krishna. Still, Krishna accepted her as his mother because she has fed him the breast milk, and she gave her, Krishna gave her the position of his mother. So there Srila Prabhupada says, here is an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord, even to his enemy. It is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character. A noble man accepts good things in another person, though he is of a doubtful character with bad intentions or whatever. Still a noble person accepts good qualities in another man. just as one accepts nectar from a stalk of poison. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother. See, Putana, she took the form of a very attractive, beautiful lady, like a mother, to feed the child. She comes, she pretended, actually her intentions were very, very wrong, bad, but she acted like that, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. The least qualification from a devotee the Lord accepts, and he benedicts the devotee with the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be our ultimate shelter? Kam va dayalum sharanam vrajema. Who is there another person who is greater than the Supreme Lord, of whom we can take shelter? Who sees even insignificant little good qualities in a devotee and he rewards him, completely neglecting all the maybe innumerable bad qualities or whatever negative things in him. The Lord, whatever, he keeps it aside. This is the nature of the Supreme Lord. So understanding such nature, a devotee voluntarily submits himself to the Supreme Lord and wants to render loving devotional service to him. Likewise, another 5 minutes, let us recollect another pastime from the Bhagavatam of Sudama. So this story we have heard sufficient times, that Sudama coming to Dwaraka on the request by his wife because of his unbearable poverty-stricken condition, no sufficient food to eat, no sufficient clothes to wear for him, for his wife, for his children. So he comes to Dwaraka, and while setting off, his wife, she begs for some little chipped rice from the neighbors, and she ties it in a cloth and gives it to him. You go and give it to your friend Lord Krishna. So Sudama, though he was reluctant, still, at least by the pressure of his wife, now that I have got an opportunity to see my old friend Krishna, he set off to Dwaraka. So after coming there, Lord Krishna, he personally goes to the entrance gate and embraces Sudama and receives him very well, brings him inside his palace, makes him sit on a nice bedstead and washes his feet and serves him sufficient food, and then they sit together and they engage in wonderful talks related to their childhood days in the ashrama Gurukula of Sandipani Muni. So there, Krishna says, of all the followers of the Varnashrama system, those who take advantage of the words I speak in my form as the spiritual master and thus easily cross over the ocean of material existence, best understand their own true welfare. Sudama and Krishna both are discussing about their spiritual master Sandipani Muni, the instructions which they learned from their spiritual master. So Krishna is telling here, there are many followers of Varnashrama Dharma, Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, performing different varieties of duties. But among all of them, he is the best who accepts the instructions of the spiritual master and accepts his instructions and easily crosses over the ocean of material existence. See, this is the ultimate goal of material existence, like say to whatever, get rid of this material bondage and go back to Godhead. So that person is said to be the best who accepts a spiritual master, follows his instructions and becomes eligible to go back to Godhead. So he is the best. And Krishna says, I, the soul of all beings, am not as satisfied by ritual worship, Brahminical initiation, penances or self-discipline as I am by faithful service rendered to one's spiritual master. See, Krishna is telling, if you can render faithful service to your spiritual master, I'll be most pleased. Likewise, the discussion goes on, and Krishna remembers the story how that one fine day we were in the forest to bring some firewood, and it rained very heavily. We couldn't make out the way back to the Gurukula. Whole night we had to spend there, and the next day morning our spiritual master came in search of us and he blessed us. So all of those stories Krishna remembers, and then Sudama, he says, O Almighty Lord, your body comprises the absolute truth in the form of the Vedas and is thus the source of all auspicious goals of life. That you took up residence at the school of a spiritual master is simply one of your pastimes in which you play the role of a human being. See, nicely, you spent days with me, a person like me, with all of us. You are actually a Supreme Lord. It is your unbounded mercy that will come to this material world and perform various leelas with people like us. And then after that, Sudama comes back to his home, and then he sees one big palace. And then Sudama goes inside. Each and everything carefully he observes. So opulent, so rich. He had never seen like that. And then finally he comes to conclusion. What has happened to me? Sudama thinks within himself. I have always been poor. Certainly, the only possible way that such an unfortunate person as myself could become suddenly rich is that Lord Krishna, the supremely opulent chief of Yadu dynasty, has glanced upon me. See, it's not that Krishna gave him, okay, I'll construct one house for you, you go and stay there. Or it's not that Krishna gave him some money, okay, take this and you carry on. No, Krishna sent him off from Dwaraka empty-handed. Sudama did not have any clue what is awaiting him when he comes back home. The whole journey when he was coming back home, he was simply thinking, Kva ham daridra papiyan, kva Krishna Sriniketanaha. I am a daridra, I am a papiya. And Krishna is the Supreme Lord, husband of the goddess of fortune. Brahma bandhuritismahum, bahubhyam parirambitaha. I am not even a Brahmana. I am only a Brahma bandhu. I am a so-called Brahmana. But unto such a person, such a papiya, such a daridra, Krishna, with his own hands, he has embraced me. See, Sudama was simply thinking about these things and came back home. And he's seeing a big palace there. So he's thinking, it's only that Krishna's glance is being cast upon me. So this is the difference what I'm finding in my life. Till yesterday, I was such a poverty-stricken person, and today, all these opulences have become mine. The difference is that, now that I have received this merciful glance of the Supreme Lord. And Sudama doesn't stop there. After all, my friend Krishna the most exalted of the Dasharhas and the enjoyer of unlimited wealth, noticed that I secretly intended to beg from him. Thus, even though he said nothing about it when I stood before him, he actually bestowed upon me the most abundant riches. In this way, he acted just like a merciful rain cloud. I did not ask anything from Krishna, but somewhere deep in my heart, I had the intention to beg something from him. Krishna, being the super soul, the Paramatma seated in everyone's heart, he has identified that intention of mine, and without asking, he has provided so much abundant riches to me. This is Krishna. And finally he says, the Lord considers even his greatest benedictions to be insignificant, while he magnifies even a small service rendered to him by his well-wishing devotee. Thus, with pleasure, the Supreme Soul accepted a single palmful of flat rice I brought him. The Lord accepted that whatever flat rice which I had brought, he accepted it because that's the nature of the Lord. Even the greatest benediction he gives, he thinks it is insignificant. I should have given much more to my devotee. On the other hand, the Lord magnifies even a small service rendered to him by his well-wishing devotee. This is the nature of the Lord. So understanding such nature of the Lord, a devotee dedicates his life for the service of the Lord, irrespective of whatever problems come, whatever obstacles be there, whatever, all those things setting aside, lovingly he renders devotional service. Just like the elephants here, though they are not thirsty, still the water is very fragrant, attractive, they drink sufficient water. Likewise, devotees, it's not that we have to be materially harassed or whatever. Lovingly, that's the nature of the spirit soul. We are all, our constitutional position is to serve the Supreme Lord. By being engaged in such a loving service, that gives us real happiness, real pleasure. So we'll conclude with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,